Hello, I'm Bruce, and today I'm presenting on a pressing water issue: the ongoing pollution and management challenges in Lake Okeechobee, Florida's largest freshwater lake. My main source is a 2025 study by Lake.com, labeling it the most polluted lake in America, along with updates from the South Florida Water Management District, SFWMD, and U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, USACE, reports through early 2026. This issue is crucial because Lake Okeechobee supplies water to millions, supports agriculture, and feeds the Everglades. But pollution threatens all that. Let's dive in. First, a summary of the issue. In 2025 and early 2026, Lake Okeechobee's management has focused on recovery mode operations to restore submerged aquatic vegetation, SAV, while navigating severe water quality challenges. Despite being labeled the most polluted lake in America in a September 2025, Lake.com study based on high phosphorus, 0.18 milligrams per L, and lead 0.67 mqg/L levels from National Water Quality Monitoring Council data through July 2025, ongoing restoration, projects, and the new Lake Okeechobee System Operating Manual, LOSOM, implemented in August 2024, aimed to in water year 2024, May 2023, April 2024. Total phosphorus loading was 386 metric tons, with a 5-year average of 390 tons, far exceeding the target of 105 tons per year set by the Florida Department of Environmental Protection. This fuels harmful algal blooms, like the toxin-producing Microcystis blue-green algae. Watch this satellite time-lapse, showing a 2025 bloom spreading across 20% of the lake. For example, an August 2025 bloom covered 280 square miles, and health alerts were issued in October 2025 and January 2026 for areas like Pahokee Marina and S352 due to toxins detected by the Florida Department of Health. Who was affected? Communities around the lake, including in Okeechobee, Glades, and Hendry counties, face health risks. Toxins can cause skin irritation, liver damage, or worse for humans and pets. Fishermen and locals dispute the dirtiest lake label, noting it's still a top bass fishing spot, but blooms have led to fish kills and reduced tourism. Downstream discharges to the St. Lucie and Caloosahatchee estuaries harm seagrasses and oysters, affecting coastal economies. Agriculture in the 730 square mile watershed is both a source of fertilizer runoff and victim crop impacts from flooding or poor water quality. Where and when? Centered in South Central Florida, the issues peaked in late 2025, with blooms and recovery operations from December 2024 to March 2025, lowering the lake by 1 foot to aid regrowth. As of February 16, 2026, the lake stage is 12.56 feet below the historical average. Agriculture suffers too. High nutrients from farms loop back to contaminated irrigation water, potentially reducing yields. Long term, without action, the lake could become uninhabitable for wildlife, with declines in wading birds, fish, and SAV already noted in the 2025 SFWMD Ecosystem Health Study. This threatens the Everglades water supply and Florida's $3.5 billion restoration investments under Executive Order 2306. Climate change worsens it. Warmer waters and heavier rains. No major 2025 hurricanes, but ongoing drought in Central Florida accelerate blooms. Broader impacts include public health crises and policy conflicts, like local opposition to the 4800-acre Kissimmee Basin stormwater treatment area in August 2025 due to flooding and airport bird strike risks. As shown on this map, the interconnected system means Lake O's problems ripple to the Gulf and Atlantic coasts, affecting biodiversity and water security for 9 million people. Finally, my recommendation. The SFWMD and USACE should prioritize expanding pay-for-performance projects like the S191 Basin Initiative, where private firms are incentivized to reduce phosphorus in high-loading hotspots through wetland restoration and advanced filtration tech. Specifically, allocate $50 million from the 2025-2026 Everglades Trust Fund to scale this model to the Kissimmee Basin by mid-2027, involving local farmers in monitoring via apps for real-time nutrient tracking. Why? It's feasible. Similar projects have achieved 42% reductions already, per the 2025 BMAP, An evidence-based 2025 Everglades Foundation study shows models like this to nutrient patterns. Farmers' key stakeholders benefit from incentives, reducing runoff while maintaining productivity. This addresses root causes without massive new infrastructure, complementing LISM's flexible releases. In conclusion, Lake Okeechobee's pollution is a wake-up call for better water management. Sources include Lake.com's 2025 report, SFWMD's 2025 South Florida Environmental Report, and USAC February 2026 OSM updates. Thank you. Questions? Here's some news reports.
Right now, the Lake Okeechobee water level is just below 14 feet. As we head into the winter months, the Army Corps of Engineers is starting to release water down the Caloosahatchee. It's necessary to keep the salinity levels in the estuary balanced, but there are fears that those releases fuel algae blooms on our coast. Gulf Coast investigator Evan Dean found out the work being done at the lake right now. For FWC biologist Alyssa Jordan, driving an airboat is like riding a bike, and Lake Okeechobee is like a second home. She's worked out here for 17 years now.
This lake has changed pretty dramatically over the years.
Alyssa has seen high water levels and record lows. She's seen how hurricanes impact more than just homes.
Areas like this, the Shooting Bay, has been struggling since about 2017. This area out here, for instance, was full of vegetation when I started, and Hurricane Irma wiped it out.
Losing it not only impacts fish and wildlife, but water quality too. Plants are a natural filter. As we all know, the quality of the water here is a constant concern. A new study claims Lake O is the dirtiest lake in America.
I mean, while I don't disagree, there's definitely room for improvement. Dirtiest lake, I don't know, it was really beautiful this spring, so.
Rankings debate aside, there are efforts to make those improvements.
The fluid mud has been too long overlooked.
Over the years, we've shown you the research to better understand the lake, and projects to try to fix the problems.
These plants are actually amazing. They clean water.
For FWC, restoration is part of their work too.
So these grasses in front of us is the Kissimmee grass that we planted this spring.
A few months ago, before water levels rose, they planted more than 8 acres of grasses in the lake, in shallow waters around old man-made islands.
Anything from invertebrates to birds to fish, we'll use those plants. The vegetation also will help with the water clarity and will also help remove some nutrients and just helps with the overall water quality.
FWC has also worked to remove muck from the lake, and in March led a large prescribed burn here in the Moorhaven Marsh. Burning dead plant life, Alyssa says, makes way for new growth.
It is a very large lake, and we're not going to be able to do a restoration project large enough to affect the entire lake in one go. But we can do these smaller projects that impact a bay, that impact a cove, that impact a single species.
While FWC's main concern is their namesake, fish and wildlife, they know the health of Lake O is important for us too. People nearby and people impacted by water releases, like us. Alyssa is motivated by the progress, but knows there's more to be done.
We use this water to recreate on, and of course we want healthy water to recreate on, but we also use algal blooms are a rapid overgrowth of algae, causing the water to become discolored and thick with algae. Algal blooms can occur naturally and can be beneficial to the ecosystem, but they can also be harmful. Harmful algal blooms, or HABs for short, can have negative impacts on ecosystems and people's health. The effects of HABs are discussed more in video 4. Environmental conditions support excessive amounts of algal growth. Ample levels of nutrients such as nitrogen and phosphorus, plus favorable weather conditions, are necessary for many kinds of algal blooms to form. The exact conditions that trigger an algal bloom are difficult to pinpoint because they are complex and driven by a combination of natural and human influences that make it difficult to predict when a bloom will occur. Algal blooms have been occurring for thousands of years, but the recent rise in documented cases of algal blooms may be linked to the increased nutrients from human sources. Excess nutrients, including nitrogen and phosphorus, can be introduced to bodies of water from agricultural runoff, residential runoff, and septic tanks. For instance, farms apply animal manure and synthetic fertilizers containing nitrogen and phosphorus to help crops grow. Agricultural runoff, water that drains away from farms, introduces extra nitrogen and phosphorus to nearby soils, lakes, rivers, and the ocean. Residential runoff can also occur when rain flows over paved surfaces and collects nutrient pollutants, such as yard waste, pet waste, fertilizers, and some cleaning products, and washes it into storm drains. These stormwater drains usually flow to the nearest river, lake, or ocean without being treated. Septic tanks in residential areas can also introduce excess nutrients to the surrounding soil and water. In a septic tank system, wastewater flows into a drain field and can then contaminate bodies of water, especially if the system is built near a canal or lake. High levels of nutrients are important for algal blooms to occur, but they are just one of. In addition to high levels of nutrients, weather conditions must also be favorable for algal blooms to form. Warmer water temperatures can increase algal growth and reproduction. Increased sunlight, either due to longer days during the summer or clear, slow-moving water, can also increase algal growth and natural variations in climate can influence algal bloom formation. High rain events can wash excess nutrients. El Niño and La Niña are examples of natural variation in climate that can influence the occurrence of temperatures are predicted to increase in the future. Warmer temperatures will likely increase algal bloom frequency and severity, especially if high nutrient levels are present. Blooms may also occur earlier in the year and last longer as the duration of the warm season. Increased extreme weather events are predicted in the future and would provide favorable conditions for algal blooms. Flooding from storm events with heavy precipitation can wash nutrient pollution from paved areas and soil into lakes, rivers, and oceans, and may promote algal blooms occur in freshwater, estuarine, and saltwater environments throughout the country, including Hawaii and Alaska, as well as around the globe. Florida experiences blooms on the west coast, east coast, and in lakes. Even waterfowl can carry algae on their feet and feathers and introduce algal blooms to previously uninfected bodies. Algal blooms can negatively impact ecosystems as well as people without producing toxins or forming HABs. For example, some species of green algae are not known to produce toxins and are not considered HABs, but they can cause habitat degradation in mangroves and coral reefs. During a bloom, green algae cover and suffocate the aerial roots of the mangrove trees. Thick green algae can cover coral reef species and prevent light from reaching coral and plants, causing them to die. Mangroves and coral reefs provide habitats for many. Sargassum is a type of brown algae and is not known to produce toxins or form HABs. Large masses of sargassum can float in the ocean and wash up on beaches. In the ocean, thick masses of sargassum can trap boats, block canals, and cause fish kills in the water as it decays. When it washes up on beaches, it can be unsightly and produce an unpleasant odor as it decays. Red drift algae are a type of red algae that can also be problematic, but are not known to produce toxins or form HABs. Large amounts of red drift algae can clog the water and wash up on beaches. Decomposition of red drift algae can deplete dissolved oxygen in the water and cause. In summary, algal blooms are a rapid overgrowth of algae that form under certain conditions. High nutrient levels and favorable weather conditions promote algae growth and the formation of algal blooms. Algal blooms can threaten ecosystems and people even when they do not form HABs or produce